Okay, here we go.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got Liquid 112 on the show. Liquid 112, where are you calling from, and what do you want to talk about?
I'm calling from LA, as you know.
Okay.
And, I mean, I'm down to answer whatever questions you guys want to talk about.
Wait,
Perfect.
you're supposed to bring a topic
Perfect.
on. Yeah. What? 80 question? Okay. Well,
I mean, I can reserve the.
How much did Impact cost? Is it true it's $1 million?
$1 million is nothing. Come on.
oh wow. Okay, there we go.
Wow. Jesus. All right. How did you get him to turn down SKT? That's the real question, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if that rumor is true.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay.
Great roster.
Yeah, I mean, so do you? Well, let's talk about. Maybe we'll ask general questions because I'm sure
Can I
you
ask
have
a
your own
question?
answers. Yeah, go for it.
So, Steve, how nervous were you, or not nervous were you, going into the application process? Do you think, like, all the teams that I mentioned before, like C9, TSM, CLG, Team Liquid, they were all like, yeah, we got this, we know what Riot wants, or going in were you like, oh, shit, dude, I don't know?
Yeah, I mean, to be super honest, I was extremely nervous because we had such a crap season in 2017, and I had thought that Riot might put an emphasis on recent performance, and everybody always remembers what the last taste in their mouth was, right?
Yeah.
And that ends up being the opinion of the current moment. And for me, I was like, this is the most important moment in esports history, and we just shit the bed in the season. So
Yeah.
I took it extremely seriously. We, as you know, put together a pretty awesome application and video, and I kind of went all out. I arranged all the proper financing so that we could have the right kind of resources going into 2018.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Travis, did you boost this?
Yeah, I
mic, by the
boosted
way?
this. It's all the way up, so we'll see. Mike, if you or Steve, if you can be a little closer to the mic, that would be good too.
Okay.
So let's talk about. Yeah, that's much better. Let's hear. How is the roster stuff coming along? I know you probably can't tell us who's on the roster or confirm any of the rumors out there, but how is the process? What's it like behind the scenes? Is it hectic? You know, any of that stuff that you can give us as an update as we eagerly await the unveiling of your lineup.
Yeah. Well, this offseason has been insane. I think more competitive than any other offseason I've interacted with in the last 5 years. I think that was likely due to the timing of all the new organizations coming into LCS, the transfer window deadline, and then free agency happening kind of back to back to back. So it was extremely competitive, but it was actually surprising. I won't name any names, but there were definitely a few orgs that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You know, like they're like still trying to figure out how to hook up internet at their gaming house, and there's you know, so it's interesting. It's just, you know, and I don't fault them for that. You know, they're coming into the org, they're still getting things ready, and they're just going to need some time to ramp up. But yeah, it was across the board. You know, it's been insanely competitive. I've been busting my ass on the phone for the last month, working everything out.
So you keep saying "was," which implies that like the transfer, you know, all that stuff is done. Yeah, like so it sounds like you're feeling pretty confident in what you've got going.
Yeah.
Transitioning a little bit off that, Travis and I put out 2 videos on separate sides of the idea of salary caps in the league, and Travis was for them. I was for them, but much more hesitant in the sense that, like, I wanted to wait a while before we started trying to do that. And then you supposedly, through, you know, rumors, of course, have been acquiring a lot of players, like far more than you can obviously field. And some people are concerned that, you know, you're going to try and hoard a bunch of contracts and then sell them off for more. I want to give you a chance to potentially get ahead of that rumor, or maybe just say you think that's a legitimate business strategy that you're just implementing in the ecosystem or something.
Yeah. Well, 2 parts of that. So first, the salary caps and just my philosophy on that. Well, in order for salary caps to even be effective within the new Riot structure, there has to be a CBA. There has to be a players' association that is funded by the players and not funded by a third party. And hopefully that happens really soon, and the players get their shit together and decide to self-fund this and combine their efforts for a really healthy league on behalf of the players' interests. But that's not happening yet. So the ability to introduce salary caps is just impossible.
Steve, can I interject really quick?
Yep.
How long do you think it'll be before that happens? If you had to throw out a rough guess, knowing talent in this space as you do, not trying to lead you on your answer, but I would like to hear your honest opinion on it. And do you think it's good or bad if they do or don't?
I think if they do it, it's fucking amazing, because then we're one step closer to being much more like other professional sports. And you can't implement a draft system until this happens. You can't implement salary caps until this happens. So a lot of additional content that would be really fucking awesome to see is not possible because there's no players association that's self-funded. So I am all for it. I think it needs to happen. As far as like when it will happen, I think there just needs to be a few players that really step up and just say, hey guys, I'm going to lead this, I'm going to get this done, take the initiative and do it. And hopefully, I think it'll be really dependent upon those individuals stepping up and volunteering their time to get it done.
So the second part of Mark's question was basically like this new meme that spawned out that's like, you have now acquired half the LCS. And so while I know you can't talk about who you've acquired and whatever, but what would you say to fans that are concerned that it just seems like Team Liquid's like going around and like purchasing everything they can?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems that way, right? I think part of it is just the timing of everything. We had to execute a deal at the time of the transfer window, and that starts on a certain date, which was the 17th, I believe. And then free agency opens up on the 20th, and that's when player contracts also expire under TL for some players. So we actually have to sign players prior to releasing players, and then, as you would imagine, we want to sign certain players before we release other players that are in similar positions, right? We don't want to trade a player before we have another player that we're happy working with. So because of those conditions, in this moment of time, in this window, it's like, I'm playing Pokemon, but
so you don't deny you are trying to catch them all.
I love Twitch. Twitch chat was like, he's just so PR answer, and then you're like, yeah, but I'm basically playing Pokemon right now.
But for us, I have always for the last 5 years put player interests first, and any player that wants to explore playing for another team, if we've got another starter, I definitely will be working with them to make sure that happens.
So, I mean, having worked with you, obviously I know you're a great guy. You're not the kind of person who would hold a contract hostage because some other team is not paying you what you think that player is exactly worth or something like that. But just generally, do you think this is a concerning business practice that potentially someone could sign, 3 players at every position or something like that? Is this something that moving forward should be maybe have some rules against it or anything, or do you think it's not really a big deal at all?
No, I think there should be some rules on it, to be 100% honest, because if someone took an approach and wasn't as, like, I guess, ethically minded or player first like I am, yes, they could abuse the system, and so there needs to be a fix for that.
Yeah. Do you know what a manga is?
Dude, that was
Did
so
you like
funny.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
video was
good.
great. Did you? Yeah. Were you?
Your acting is really good, Steve.
He wasn't
Thank
acting.
you. I wasn't acting actually on that one.
There are definitely some parts of that video where Steve is acting. It was convincing.
Do you? How? I mean, how did that video come about? Because I actually think it was one of the best announcement videos that we saw on that day, even if it got
Yeah.
taken down from Reddit like 10 times.
Yeah, it did get. It actually never made it on Reddit, but it
Wait,
was.
why did it get taken down from Reddit?
The mods
Uh,
say it's not directly related to League of Legends or something.
Oh
Well,
my god! All right.
to be
never mind.
honest, an
we're
announcement
not getting
video
on this one again.
isn't. But no, if you
Yeah.
want to make fun of,
They
coaches,
said it's because there's no. Actually, I messaged the mods and tried to figure this out, and they said because there's memes in it,
Oh wow.
that
Okay.
it wouldn't allow it.
yeah, low effort content, producing an entire video,
Yeah.
and, lighting, multiple camera angles. That's low effort content right there.
So, but what did
it's
you?
bullshit,
How did
yeah.
you like? What did you guys? Were you trying to figure out what to do with the announcement video? And then you decided to do a video where you're trying to figure out how to do the announcement video, or what? How did that come about?
Yeah, so actually, the man behind all of this is actually Jarj, our head analyst, and he just came up with it, pitched it, and him and Damien ran with it. So
Yeah.
He's got a new job.
Well, do
yeah,
we have?
no, director of memes.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions for Steve about this stuff? I mean, I don't know how much more we can ask him because I assume he's not going to be able to talk about a lot of stuff. But
I have one more.
sure.
Steve, were there any surprises for you in franchising for teams? Who got in? Who didn't get in?
Yes, I would say that Immortals was a surprise for me, just from the outside looking in, without knowing much of what was going on.
Okay.
Do we want to ask Twitch chat if they have any questions for him? I don't know if we want to invite a whole
I mean,
other
Twitch
person
chat's
on.
just going to ask, is Double If joining Team Liquid a bunch of times? So I don't know how helpful, but if Twitch chat has any questions,
I'll peruse it and see if one pops out. Steve, is there anything you want to talk about
Yeah,
next season, anything? Or
Yeah, I mean, Travis, I had a question for you. I just wanted to know, is there any way to sponsor the show?
Hey!
yeah,
What
paid
is
by
sponsor-
Steve.
My
Hey!
boy.
There are. I don't know if we're currently accepting team sponsors because it's a bit of
We're
a
accepting
conflict
team
of interest.
sponsors.
But yeah, Team Liquid Hotline League brought to you by Steve. No, that would be good. But if anybody does want to sponsor the show, they can definitely hit me up on my website. Any questions coming in from Twitch chat, Mark, that you want to bring in?
I think there's one that I probably know what the answer is, but someone asked, when do you think, I know you can't get into specifics, but when do you think you'll be able to begin revealing roster information?
We will have a announcement going live tomorrow.
Ooh,
Damn.
that's much earlier than I
Damn,
think I
that
was
is-
expecting.
That's a nice exclusive for
Yeah.
our show.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. That's it.
Someone clip it and put it on Twitch and tag us so we could retweet that bomb.
Either way, hey, thanks for calling in, Steve. It was nice of you to make time. I'm sure it's been busy for you.
Thanks,
yeah,
dude.
It's
Yep.
been great, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right,
Yeah.
bye.
See ya.
Best of luck as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Damn,
So
I can't believe he just dropped on us that the roster announcement's coming out tomorrow,
yeah.
dude.
Well, he said
Well, it
a
could be like-
announcement. So I
Yeah,
I
it could
doubt
be an
he's gonna-
announcement of an announcement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, totally not the roster announcement. Could be any announcement.